better to talk to about body language than a bouncer who's having to make decisions and interpret body language as an integral part of their job? I really love this chat I had with Fabian, who's a doorman at El Fuego, a Mexican bar and restaurant. He really inspired me, a leader in a true sense, without really realizing or framing it that way. The conversation got on to power and the importance of approachability for respect. How being big and intimidating as a bouncer is a very outdated concept, and the traditional bouncer pose creating more problems than it solves and ultimately gaining you less respect in the long run. Fabian had such an easy leadership quality to him and quietly influences the people he works with and the patrons who come to the bar. So I guess just start with sort of some questions about how you got into sort of doing security. How did that start?
Well, I was actually introduced by a friend to security. He asked me to come along one night. Said I'd be suited to the job because I had people skills. So he thought I'd be good for the job, and I went in one weekend, and I've been there 6 years now. So
so there must be things to stay that long. There must be things that you like about doing the job.
It's good in the fact that you can still be social, but without getting intoxicated or drinking. The guys I work for are really good, so that's a big part of why I've stayed at the job. And of course the people you work with, they're a big part of the job too. So
because you do that on top of you've got a full-time job as well?
I work 40 hours a week at Briscoe's, so so I do that from Monday to Friday, and then in the weekend I'll do door work in town from about 10 o'clock at night till 3, 4 in the morning.
So you're saying that someone had said that you had people skills. What do you think those sort of skills are, and if you kind of develop those skills kind of being on the door, because you must see all sorts of things?
To me, it's about relating to the people, making them feel comfortable, yourself comfortable, diffusing the situation by talking rather than violence and stuff like that, because to me violence is your last resort, your very last resort. You should, and
do you reckon that's changed as far as door work? Do you think over the years that's changed, where it used to just be
it used to be these big bulky guys that stood there, were intimidating, scared people, picked on drunks to me, because I consider myself a doorman, not a bouncer. Because to me a doorman meets and greets you when you come into an establishment. And says goodbye and make sure you get home safely. So that's what I consider my job as anyway. I don't consider myself a bouncer as such, because to me bouncers pick on drunks or are there to be intimidating and scary, whereas I'm there to meet and greet you, to make you feel welcome, and then send you on your way when you've had enough.
So that's quite a different attitude, isn't it?
Because you find with a lot of them, a lot of guys that come and do the job, as soon as they put the vest on, it empowers them, and they think they can push people around, or they've got this thing about them. Whereas me, I'm just there to make sure you have a good time. Without hurting yourself, and make sure I have a good time and go home safely. So
absolutely. What do you think that does? So you're saying you're seeing others that do that, and they want to be sort of big and intimidating. What kind of effect do you think that has on?
I think well I've worked with a few of them like that, and I think working with them, they have taken my approach to things. They've seen how I deal with patrons, and they've adapted to my side of doing things, where you communicate with them, talk the situation down, as opposed to getting aggressive and trying to wrestle them out of a bar.
So maybe they saw that was the only way to do things, and you've kind of shown them a different way.
Some, not all of them are the same like that, but some people, it does. They do that.
If you get angry, what effect does that have? What does that do for the situation, do you think?
I think it just makes the situation a bit more uncomfortable for both of us, if you know what I mean. So if I get aggressive, they know I'm aggressive as well. So I try not to lose my cool too much. I just I try to talk myself out of the situation and bring everyone down to a I'd rather them smiling and laughing than getting all aggressive and up in my face, because that makes me feel uncomfortable, and it's it just kind of mars the night, if you know what I mean.
And if they're smiling and they're sort of happy, you think they're more likely to go along with sort of what you're asking?
There's less chance of there being violence, if you know what I mean. There's less chance of someone getting hit or hurt. So the best situation is to talk them out of it.
Yeah. So you've sort of talked about sort of talking situation to diffuse a situation, sort of talking. Is there anything that you're doing sort of specifically with your body? Like you're saying, you're not being aggressive or intimidating. What do you do? Do you know to your body to communicate that?
Yeah, I think, well, what I tend to do is you always keep distance from them. That way you know you're not going to get hit by them.
Yep, so don't get in someone's face.
So you don't get right up in their face. And if you portray that you're relaxed and easygoing or happy, they don't tend to come at you aggressively, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Because you're not being aggressive, they're not being, we're not biting into it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think there's a natural response that if someone's aggressive with us, we're aggressive back. If someone's happy, we're happy back. It's a natural sort of mimicking that we do.
Yeah. Another good one is just quiet, If someone keeps nagging at you, if you don't say nothing, after a while they get fed up with the nagging, or they get annoyed and they end up just toddling off. So
is there anything that does get to you that you find it hard to? It sounds as if you find that quite easy, that they're just sort of nagging and you're just staying relaxed and in your space.
What I say to like new guys is that have never done the job is intoxicated people are kind of like children, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So they tend to giggle and laugh when they've caught doing something wrong,
right?
And when you kick them out, they want to know why, and it's a repetitive thing because they've been drinking, and they'll walk off 10 minutes later, come back and not remember that they've been kicked out of that bar, and you'll tell them, no, you can't come back in because you've been removed from the bar earlier on, and they'll argue with you, like, I haven't even been here tonight, and you've obviously seen them and kicked them out, but they don't remember none of that. So but a lot of it is to me, intoxicated people are like children, and we're just there to babysit them, if you know what I mean, and look after them and make sure they're behaving and they're all right.
And that's quite a different perspective. If you're thinking of them like that, you're babysitting, you can kind of let a lot of behaviour kind of go, can't you? Because you're the adult in that situation and they're the children.
Yeah, because we're there to look after them. That is our job. It's not to remove them from a bar. We are there to invite them into our bar, make sure they're looked after in our bar, and then make sure they get home safely.
Yeah. Have you ever been like really afraid, in a situation that sort of got violent or? Yeah,
I've had a couple of situations where I've, feared for my own safety.
Yeah.
But I kind of try to just portray that I'm not intimidated by these people or scared of these people, and just try to remain calm and relaxed so that, because if they can feel that fear, if you know what I mean. They know that you're scared, and they'll keep pushing the matter if you're scared. But the big one is just to ignore people who are aggressive and violent. If you ignore them and you're not biting into what they're doing, then they'll go away and leave you alone.
So it's kind of that, just being relaxed, so not tensing up or not being kind of aggressive, and just ignore it.
Because I find if you stand there and you're aggressive, or you're standing there and you're looking tough and staunch, it attracts those kind of people, the people who want to fight, who want to harass you, So if you portray a nice, happy, calm demeanour, they're usually good, because I give everyone a chance. I don't discriminate against anyone. I'll let anyone into the bar as long as they're there to have a good time, behave themselves.
Do you ever, because you've been doing it now for 6 years, do you ever sort of see how people are sort of interacting as they're sort of approaching the bar and as they're coming in, and think, this is going to go in the wrong way?
The biggest thing with me is, because where our bar's situated, there's another bar really close to us, so a lot of them, when they're coming from either way, there's two bars either side of us, so when they come in either way, they usually go to the other bars first. And the good thing with the aggressive ones is, if you see them get denied from another bar, you can use that to your advantage and say, look, you've been denied from that bar there, so I can't let you in tonight. But in saying that, if you talk to them and let them know that, look, you're not allowed in that bar, you're not allowed in this bar, but if you behave, I will let you in this bar.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will, you know, back up their ideas, behave, and then at the end of the night when they come out, they shake your hand, thank you for, you know, letting them into the bar and so on. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds as if you do have quite a good sort of idea, kind of, especially sort of having the experience about what, you know, what your approach is going to be even before they've kind of reached you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the patrons that go to the bar that I work at, I've seen them from 18 to now, you know, and then a lot of them will go off. They've grown up a bit and go off, and then they come back and they're like, oh, you're still here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. And because I've developed that relationship with some of them, they're really well behaved in the bars, the bar that I work at. So
it makes a big difference. You building up that relationship.
That relationship with them, yeah.
Because they don't want to let you down.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Yeah. And a lot of them I tend to find that if I build this good relationship with them, whenever I get into a situation myself with an aggressive patron, a lot of them will come to my aid. They'll come help me and stuff like that.
Fantastic.
Or, you know, yeah. So, you know, you find it kind of diffuse, or they'll know the person who's getting aggressive and they'll settle that person down without me having to do much.
Yep. So it really is like leadership skills, isn't it? Because you're the leader and you're sort of asking them or showing them how you want them to behave, and they are again, it's sort of a bit like a family with children, and actually the parents showing them how you want them to behave.
Yeah, and to me, at the end of the night, if the only people we've kicked out is for intoxication, well then to me that's an all right night. That's a good night because there's been no violence, there's no fighting in the bar, and we rarely have any big incidents in our bar.
That's fantastic.
With violence and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And you know the doorman. So do you normally work alone on the door, or is there someone else with you?
On a Saturday night, there's about 4 of us, including myself. So.
Yeah, so a lot of that has to do with how the doormen are interacting.
Yeah, so we'll usually have 2 situated at the door to greet the people as they come in, and 2 situated in the bar to keep an eye out on things, because we can get, you know, on a Saturday night up to about 300 people in the bar.
Wow, so pretty busy. So you were saying, a lot of the patrons you've known, because you've been there for 6 years and watched them coming and going, do you think you're quite good at sort of recognizing, you know, getting to know faces, and because that must be part of the job as well, sort of? Most of them, you recognise their face because you associate them with something they've done. They might have done something one night, and you kind of remember, that's that guy, or I remember her. You know, some of them have tried to sneak in when they were underage or something, and you'll never forget their face. And then they turn 18 and they come up to you and they show you their ID, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember you. You know? But just doing it week in, week out. So do you reckon that's a skill that you kind of, being in that job, it sort of helps you sort of develop? Or do you think you naturally sort of?
I think the job has helped because you tend to recognise the people that are either troublemakers, or you know, even the good people. You know, you recognise the good people, and they actually appreciate it when you don't ask them for ID and stuff. And they asked me, "Why aren't you going to check my ID?" And I said, "Well, I've seen you come here many a times, so you know."
How do you think, so sort of thinking about sort of that skill and kind of other skills that you've picked up, you know, when you go out and you go out for a drink with your friends and you're in a bar, how does it affect, you know, what you see and what you're watching for?
I can't really get drunk, if you know what I mean, because I end up just standing there and I go on to what I call bouncer mode, and you kind of stand there and you're assessing everyone in the bar, you know, and you're like, oh, I would have kicked him out, or you know, and you kind of stand there assessing the situation instead of just relaxing, you know. Whereas it's different if I'm in a different environment, like if I was at home having a barbecue or something like that, you know, you tend to relax more in that. But whenever I go out into a bar nowadays, I kind of find myself sometimes, you know, just looking around, assessing what's going on instead of just relaxing and enjoying myself. You know.
Yeah, because it must be, because that's your habit of, you know, you are constantly assessing the situation for risks. So to actually switch out of that when you're just out in the pub must be quite difficult.
It's quite hard. So
do you ever do that kind of in other situations? You sort of, or is it really just within the bar? So it's like you said, if you're having a barbecue, you're totally relaxed, you know?
Yeah, well, I try to separate myself from the two.
Yeah.
You know, you can't work all the time.
No.
You know, you got to have a personal life as well. So
yeah.
whenever I find myself going into what I call bouncer mode, I have to tell myself, you know, just relax. It's, you know, it's someone else's job
someone
tonight.
Else is doing it. Yeah.
Someone else is doing it tonight. So
yeah.
Someone else is looking after me. So
yeah, awesome. What would you think are there anything that you've sort of learnt, do you reckon, doing the job about body language? Anything perhaps you wouldn't kind of noticed before or sort of learnt, perhaps not doing the job?
Just more so the situations. I don't think with the body language, because most of it is quite simple to read, you know, aggression, you know, intoxication, because they might be stumbling all over the place or slurring in there. But there are a few things I've picked up through doing the job. It's given me a lot more tolerance with people in there. You know, I can, you know, tolerate situations a bit, or handle situations a bit better than I used to. So
yeah, can you kind of explain a little bit more about that? That sounds really interesting.
Well, you know, before I started doing this, I used to be a person who would go straight from, you know, being calm to aggressive and stuff like that. Yeah. But my tolerance has built up a bit longer over time, and whereas I now know, you know, that violence is our last resort. That, you know, that is the last thing we want to happen. You know, because it ruins everyone's night. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, and so
do you have a strategy that, you know, like as far as yourself, kind of like how do you flip that back on yourself and sort of tell yourself to not get angry, or, you know, you're saying that you're more tolerant. How do you reckon that's helped?
I think it's because now I just kind of, you know, like I'll start to get worked up or wound up, and then I stop and I think to myself, you know, just relax, just breathe through it and relax, and then I'll stop and because I stop and think about that, it changes my whole perspective on the whole situation straight away, you know. Yeah. So it won't escalate into something that is out of control, or, you know, or violence, which is the last resort. So yeah, fantastic. It's really interesting. Yeah. I just wondered if you know, we were talking about that, you know, the last thing we were talking about, where you were saying you've learned to be more tolerant and not, you know, get angry so quickly. By actually breathing and sort of relaxing your body. Can you show me sort of what you mean by that? Because what happens when you get, like, if you're going to get angry, what would happen physically? Okay, so what I do usually if I'm starting to get a bit annoyed, if you were the intoxicated person, I just give a bit of space between me and them so they can't, you know, and if they do keep coming at me a bit closer, I'm just tell them, you know, just go back over there a bit.
Yeah, so you're sort of stepping back,
so I'll step back and I'll kind of put my arm out and tell them, you know, look, you're getting into my personal space, just you know, and then I try to just relax, and then so a lot of it's your face. If you're angry or you're aggressive, it shows in your face, and they know that too, even though they're intoxicated, they know that. Yeah. So you've got to try to kind of maintain. So what would be
that tense kind of face? What would be that kind of?
I don't know. I'm kind of hard to get wound up now. Yeah. So it takes quite a bit for me to get wound up now, and so. Yeah, I'll just give myself a bit of space from them.
So are you breathing kind of? Are you sort of conscious of your breath?
I am in my own head, but I'm trying not to let them see that I'm getting wound up, if you know what I mean. So
there's nothing that they can see, it's all an internal thing.
It's all internal, you know.
So it's kind of like they wouldn't see, like, tension, you don't really see that, and relaxation, but internally it makes a big difference.
Yeah, you know, you feel stressed inside, kind of, you know, and
it's normally like tension, isn't it?
It's like tension inside, but you can't portray that, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
you've got to keep that persona of being relaxed, calm, happy, because if you do that, then they won't keep coming at you with the aggression, because they know you're not having a bar of it. Whereas if you look annoyed and angry and you look like you want to fight them, they'll keep picking at that. I'll keep picking at that. Just to get that reaction. Yep. But I just try to stay relaxed, smile, you know, give myself distance between them. In a way, you kind of ignore them.
Yep. So you sort of like turn away from them, would you?
Yeah. I turn away from them, but because of what we're doing, you can't take your eyes off of them. So, you know, you have them in your sight.
Sort of in your peripheral.
Yeah, in your peripheral, but you just don't pay them no attention, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because they get sick of talking to themselves.
And that actually gives a real message of power, actually, when you do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, you know, you can't.
Yeah,
you
can't faze me.
Yeah.
You cannot faze me. So, you know, you can keep going all you like, but I'm not going to bite into it. And like I say, they get sick of talking to themselves. You know, they'll even say to you, "You're not even listening to me."
Yep.
You know.
Yep. So if you're going to go up to someone and, like you said, you're going to talk them, you know, get them to come outside, how would you do that physically?
Usually I'll approach them, and because I know the people most times, I'll just walk up to them, tap them on the side, or talk to them, and then they'll turn and they'll look at me and they'll go, oh, and I'm like, look, come in. Because usually you've got music or something playing in the background.
So you're using real sort of body language to do it? Like,
but I still keep my distance, and I tell them, come with me, and then they'll try to talk to me then and there, and I'll tell them, look, I can't hear you, you know, come with me, come out the front and talk to me. Come out the front and talk to me. Usually we'll walk halfway through the bar, they'll stop. What have I done, you know? Why are you taking me, you know, why are you kicking me out? And I go, I'm not kicking you out yet, just come talk to me. And then usually it depends on what they've done as to what I do, you know. So if they've only been intoxicated or, you know, mucking around, wrestling with their friends in the bar, I'll just give them a warning and tell them, look, man, you've been pointed out from the bar staff to me. I have to remove you, but if you behave, I'm willing to let you think. And then I'll usually go in and talk to the bar staff that's come and talk to me. And I'll tell them, look, I've given them a chance. If you see them play up again, come get me, I'll kick them straight out. But usually I like to give people a chance first. With other ones, I just take them straight out, explain what's happened, and tell them they have to carry on. I'll tell them, look, I'm not going to ruin your night. You can carry on, go to another bar. Continue on into another bar, but you just can't come back here tonight.
And so you're kind of making your choices in the moment.
Because of the radios in it. Usually if someone gets kicked out of a bar, they'll radio the other bars and tell them, I've kicked this guy out, blah, blah, blah. To me, if it's intoxication, we've kicked someone out for intoxication, that's a personal judgment, that's a personal call. So if you let them carry on to another bar, it's up to them to make that call as well. What it's really interesting what you're saying, because it really makes me think of the difference between, you know, real power and a sort of like fake sense of, you know, I'm so big, bravado,
bravado, What, you know, in sort of door work, what do you reckon, you know, is sort of size versus sort of attitude? So what you're talking about is all
size is good in a way, because it's intimidating. As soon as someone who is, because I work with a couple of guys who are up there, and they're good because they don't have to do much to remove some people from the bar sometimes. You know, they just a look or a gesture to get out, and those people will move. But then I also find that the bigger ones tend to get picked on too, because someone gets a bit of liquor into them, a bit of alcohol into them, and they see the biggest guy there and they think, oh, I can take him. You know, I might go him, you know. And so
even if they're on the door, they're thinking that, the patrons are thinking that, wow.
I've had a lot of people go straight for the bigger guy than opposed to me who was smaller than that guy, you know. So
that's interesting. So it's sort of like in your favour and not so much as well.
In my favour and not in my favour, if you know what I mean, you know. Because it works for them because they're bigger. It's a little bit easier for them to move some people out. But then in a way you get some people who target guys like that are.
And also, so you said before that if you are really big and intimidating, that people they're not going to build that relationship with you. So it makes, in the long run, kind of makes the job more difficult.
Whereas a lot of the guys that I work with, the bigger guys that I work with now, have worked with me for a while, and when I first started with them, they used to stand real up straight and a real bouncer pose, you know, and be up straight and thing. But now I find that a lot of them are more relaxed, you know, they'll cross their arms and just kind of relax and chill and, you know, be a bit more laid back, and that makes them a bit more approachable to some of the punters. And because a lot of them know me, they go out of their way to get to know some of the other ones, so that if I'm not there, they can go, and because I formed this relationship with them, they can go up to them and talk to them about, you know, getting in, or, you know.
That is really interesting, and it definitely sort of mimics, or it correlates to, other people we've spoken to work in completely different areas, but that whole idea around power and intimidation, that actually it's more powerful if you can have people approach you than if you're intimidating, because you might kick someone out once, but they're never going to come and talk to you, and they might put you off, like you say, getting people on side.
Like I remove people from the bar. I've removed people from the bar. Next week they come back to me and they're all apologetic, full of apologies. Look, I'm sorry, man. And I've heard it so much now that I'm just like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I hear it all the time. But I'm a firm believer in you give people a chance.
Yeah.
It just depends how many chances they have, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for talking to us.